Hey there, amazing souls, and welcome to today's message. We're up to day 29 of the 40-day Choosing Love over Fear challenge, I should say. And I hope that you're getting some value from this content and these daily messages. That is really why I'm showing up, or a huge reason why I'm showing up. I'm also showing up just really developing myself and my deepening of courageous vulnerability and sharing much more of myself. And I don't know, I think that sometimes in our lives it can feel really flat, and part of the reason for that is because we're just simply not sharing of ourselves. We're not putting out into the world what we would want to receive. You know, whatever we might be feeling as though is missing or lacking in our lives energetically can often just be because we're not actually just giving of that and being of that. And I want to share with you guys a really big win for me in my life yesterday in a really key relationship, and hope that it sparks something for you, and use that as an example for today's message, which is really going to just get you hopefully to think about what you're putting out and connecting that to what you might be getting back, right? And my invitation for today's message is to think about, what do you feel in your life right now is kind of not what you want, right? Like maybe you're experiencing some flatness, maybe you're experiencing just, you know, a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a lot of what ifs, a lot of regrets, a lot of, you know, holding on to things, unable to let go, lacking motivation, feeling just flat or overwhelmed or anxious about the future, or whatever it is, whatever those things are that you're currently experiencing, things that you don't want is what I'm really focusing on today, because I want this message to be something that hopefully can put the power back into your hands and empower you towards creating what you actually want. All right, so that's what we're going to be diving into today. A quick hello to Bill and David and Philippe. So good to see you guys. Thanks for joining me live. And as you guys are tuning in, whether you're watching the recording or you're live with me, please do drop some comments. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and any words of wisdom, experiences that you want to contribute to this conversation. Those really help others, you know, to learn. We learn so much through other people sharing their experiences. That's why I use myself as this example all the time, put myself out there. But the hope is that, you know, by looking through my lens of my experience, it's an indirect way of looking at yourself and how you're doing life. Because sometimes when we just really directly focus on what's going on for ourselves, it can put us off. It can be a bit overwhelming, a bit confronting at first. So to learn through others is awesome. So those of us who are willing to share our experiences, it's really helpful, not only for you to process your own experience, but also so that other people can get a deeper insight into their own selves in an indirect and less confronting way, which is oftentimes the door opening to their next level of their potential. So it's a real gift. And, you know, any questions that might arise or just contemplations that you feel will add to this conversation, I really appreciate you guys contributing that. And big hello to Joanne. Good to see you, beautiful soul. So let's get into today's message. Today, day 29, is what you give out is what you get back. And a side note or a kind of subtitle to this message is, bring to the table what you want to experience more of, okay? And let me give an example of this, but what I'm really talking about is taking responsibility for what you want to experience in life. So many of us are just waiting for somebody else to give us what we want. We're waiting for somebody else to go first. And then what happens is we're living in an environment where we're all holding back. Nobody's giving really much of themselves because they're waiting for the other person who's playing the same strategy as they are, that holding back. You go first and then I might, come out here, right? And give you more of who I am or have some more vulnerability here. If we're all holding back and we're all playing the same strategy, nobody wins, right? So this is an invitation for you to step into the driver's seat, for you to be the one who's courageous enough to be vulnerable and open about what it is that you want. Now, let me share an example, all right? So just yesterday in my life, I had a really, really empowering conversation with actually a coaching client of mine, but also like a really great friend of mine, which tends to be the reality. I can't see how I can't be great friends with the people I get to go deep with. And so anyway, it had been on my mind for a little while. And this is one of my patterns in my life, and one of the themes for my growth has been in relationship with the masculine. So usually a man, but can be in a relationship, in a physical, biological woman. But basically what we're talking about, and for me personally, it stems from my relationship with my dad and my relationship with my, particularly my eldest brother, but my brothers as well. And to give you some backstory before I share what happened for me yesterday, I had, through my kind of childhood and things that, all families are imperfect and we all have our own sort of set of circumstances that can be great and also can be a bit traumatizing, no matter what the intentions of anybody involved. But basically for me, growing up, I learnt to not be threatening to the men in my life, to make sure that I just went to wherever they're comfortable and then just, kind of just walk on eggshells and hold back a lot of any truth or thing that could be challenging or uncomfortable or potentially threatening, as a way of just surviving and keeping my own safety, right? And I saw that kind of modeled for me as well. And so that kind of served me up until a point. We've all got these childhood patterns and tendencies, but I ended up bringing that pattern with me into my adulthood, right? And play that out in my intimate partnerships where I'd hold back, walk on eggshells, overly be people-pleasing, just try to kind of manage other people's emotions and not be threatening and kind of dull myself down so that we could maintain harmony, and all of these sort of strategies that were definitely outdated and no longer could give me the results that I wanted in my life. This theme is still playing out, but I've come lots of different layers of growth in and kind of spiraling up, but in the same kind of theme. And just over Christmas time, I actually had a pretty big breakthrough with a conflict, because conflict can be so transformational, right? If you know how to resolve it, right? And you know how to use it as an opportunity to deepen into your own courageous vulnerability so that you can be proud of how you show up and take ownership and have no regrets. But just over this Christmas period, I actually had a pretty big leap forward from child to adult in my relationship with my dad. And I basically expressed something that I was really meaningful to me. In the past, I would have just enabled whatever he wanted, and I would have disregarded what my need was. But I actually got to this point where I courageously and vulnerably expressed a need, and it ended up turning out really well in the end. But it was a pretty conflictual experience and something that, most of us try to avoid. But because I value the relationship so much, I was willing to go through the conflict, and I was trusting enough within myself to be able to handle it, right? Through my own experiences, and however he chose to show up, that had no bearing on me. My responsibility was being clear on what my need was, having the courage to express it openly, non-judgmentally, and just fully from a place of love, but certainty and strength, right? Without attachment, because all I can do is speak up for myself and be an advocate for my own needs and well-being and for the relationship as I see it. But I can't control how somebody else responds to that or, chooses to go forward from that place. So that was a big growth journey for me in this theme of my life of trying to be non-threatening to the men in my life. Now, let's bring in yesterday's experience. So one of my male clients, because I'm the common denominator of everything, right? If I have this kind of theme for growth and development with the men in my life, it also comes into my coaching environments, right? And this particular coaching relationship with one of my male clients, I've been noticing for the last few weeks that, I could see where his level of comfort was, and I wasn't challenging him on that. I was trying to be non-threatening, and I was figuring it out, right? Figuring out what might work to help me coach this individual to his next level, right? But it was all a bit ingrained with this theme of how I deal with men in my life and that next stage of my development playing out. And I knew what I had to do. And over the weekend, I was like, no, this is it. Like, I need to get really clear on this, and I need to have probably a difficult conversation, because it's not satisfying to me to see there's so much potential and opportunity available for his growth right now. And my fears, my insecurities, my patterns should not be getting in the way of me being able to support that journey ahead, right? And so, I was getting clear. I was, really working out how could I best be received and speak my truth with this for his benefit. And obviously for my own and the integrity of the relationship. And, it was coming to a place where the end of a new coaching block was coming forward. And for me, it would be out of integrity to continue the coaching in this place that wasn't quite where he was going to get the full benefit from that experience. So I didn't have attachment. I was willing to let that go if it wasn't going to get to that next stage and that level, so that it can be really fulfilling for both of us, right? And so I did some work and some clarity on that. And yesterday we had our session together. And what I discovered was, if I want an opening for more vulnerability, more courage here, more trust, so we can go deeper to that next layer and not be holding back, I realized it wasn't about me saying, hey, you're not being open and courageous and trusting here, right? What's that going to do to anybody, right? Going to shut them down, because it's going to be defensive. It's going to be blame and attack. So what I chose to do instead was like, okay, that's what I want more of. Then I took responsibility for how I was co-creating that space, right? And that energy and that environment, that experience. And then I decided that I needed to lead with the energy of what I wanted more of. If I want something from somebody else, then I have to take responsibility for leading and giving what I want to receive more of, right? No matter what that is. And so I did that. And I consciously came into that session just with a lot more openness, because I was clearer. I'd taken that responsibility within myself. I'd faced my fears, and I knew what I needed to do, and I was willing to do that without attachment. And I did come into that conversation with more openness, and I wanted to share more and be a bit open and lead with some vulnerability. And the funny thing was, and you might find this in your own life, when you make a shift energetically within your own system by confronting your fears, your insecurities, the things you might have been avoiding, and you take ownership, you automatically shift your energy, right? And I look at every relationship dynamic, it's a system, and it's got cogs in that system. and you're one of the cogs in that system. There might be many cogs in that system, might be your whole family, right? That's a whole system that's involved. It takes only one cog in that system to take itself out or to reassociate itself in some way to change the entire system without any other cog in the system necessarily having to do anything, right? And so that's the impact that we're having. Be the change you wish to see in the world, right? Famous words from Gandhi. They're so true. If you change in the way, in the direction that you want to be experiencing more of, you're automatically changing your cog that's connected in this system, and it's automatically going to change the other cogs in the system, whether they choose to or not, right? Because they're part of it. And the funny and, really weird thing was, this client of mine, whether it was just happening in that environment or however it kind of occurred, or he was feeling the same things and was bringing different things to the table, automatically the conversation, we were both being more open, more courageous, more vulnerable, and we got to speak out some different things and get to a whole deeper level of exactly what I was hoping for, right? But actually he was leading a lot of that conversation to begin with. And so we impact each other energetically all of the time. So just do not discount your impact on the people around you when you make your internal shifts. And I'm so grateful that we're on the same page and we got to, kind of iron out some of the unspoken creases a little bit so that we can ultimately both feel really fulfilled and totally excited about the pathway ahead. All right. And so I just wanted to use that as an example to realize that whatever you give out is what you get back. If you're not currently experiencing the quality of relationships, interactions, whatever you're wanting to experience in all the realms of life, in your health, in your finances, in your business life, in your friendships, in your family relationships, your intimate partner, your children, whatever it is, you're in the driver's seat. Determine and clarify, what is it that I really want to experience? And stop waiting for somebody else to go first. You have to be the leader of your own energy. If you want to experience something, you have to lead that. You have to have the courage and the vulnerability and the openness to communicate about that, to do that, to be that change that you wish to see in whatever environment it is that you want to be experiencing something different. The change starts within and it will ripple effect externally, but it starts within, and too many of us are waiting for somebody else in a relationship or whatever to finally be what we want them to be, right? So that we can experience what we want to experience. Well, the day ain't ever coming, right? Until you get clear and you take leadership, you become that leader of your own energy and the environment around you, and stop discounting the positive impact that you can have on those around you. But ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody coming to lead your life in the most fulfilling direction. That is absolutely up to you. And it's your responsibility to get the clarity, to get the direction, to have the courage, to take that responsibility, be open, be vulnerable, and be that change that you want to see in the world around you, because whatever you're giving out is what you're going to give back. All right, and it works both ways. There's no positive or negative. It's just how it is. Whatever you're giving out is what you're going to give back. All right, and so get back, I should say. So that really is my message for you guys today. I definitely want to check in and say hi. I hope it's been of value to you guys, just sharing in that, and maybe just consider in your life right now, where's the challenge? Where's the experience that is just not really fulfilling for you right now? In any of your relationships, in any area of your life, and just really sit with yourself compassionately, openly, understandingly, right? Non-judgmentally, and just ask yourself, like, what am I doing to contribute to this experience, right? What is it that don't want, that's oftentimes easier for us to access. We don't really like this experience. Well, what is it about this relationship, for example, that I'm not really liking? Like, you know, for my example, just sharing with you, you know, it's like there wasn't enough courage and openness and vulnerability and sharing, right? And that was limiting, right? It was limiting for everybody involved. And so whenever I feel a limitation, I want to break through to be, you know, that's why my whole thing is limitless potential, right? There's always a potential to be broken through to. You never have to stay limited. And so where is that in your life where you're experiencing something you don't want? Then get clear on what is it that you would want to experience, and then what is it that it will take from you to step up with some courage, with some vulnerability, and be that change that you want to see. Change that cog in the system and be that leader of your own energy so that you can actually experience what it is that you truly want to be experiencing, and stop waiting for anybody else to go first. All right, so that's my message. I definitely want to check in with you guys. I saw DB's just joined. Good to have you back, my friend. And I hope that you catch a recording for this one because I'm just wrapping it up. But a quick message, quick hello, I should say, to each and every one of you guys. I've got Bill and David and Philippe and Joanne and Zebo and DB. Hello to you, and always thanking you for being here. So that's my message. Awesome. Love that, DV. And for you guys catching the recording, drop some comments, share your experiences, any questions, all the rest of it. Love kind of building more of a community and conversation here where you guys get to grow. We get to grow together, right? Shoulder to shoulder on these important topics, and see if they land for you and resonate with you. And yeah, just invitation to sit with yourself so that you can get more clarity and break free of any limitations in your life right now, and get that experience of limitlessness, that you can create whatever it is that you really want to create. You can experience whatever you want to experience, and you are the leader of your own life. No more waiting for other people to go first. All right. All right. And hello to Martin, just joining right now. Just signing off and shining off. I might as well shine off today as well. But just signing off. So you guys joining live now, please catch the recording. Hope it adds value to you. And Joanne, speak from the heart. Absolutely and always. And there's something so empowering about speaking from the heart, right? To me, that's courageous vulnerability, right? Courage is choosing love over fear. And that vulnerability is your true reality, right? Your authenticity. So having the courage to, to speak from the heart, right? That is like your authenticity shining through, right? So absolutely. And whatever you do from that space and place, you won't regret. I'm telling you. The only things that we regret in life is when we hold back and we do not speak our truth. We do not share courageously and vulnerably. And in Joanne's words here, we do not speak from the heart. All right. Those are the things. If we don't do those things, we can fall into the trap of regret. I'm choosing to live a regret-free existence. It takes courage, it takes vulnerability, and it takes me being attuned to what's authentic to me and having the courage to voice that and be that leader of my own energy and not wait for anybody else to take responsibility for my life and my experience. All right, and that is my wish for you guys as well. Hope this empowers you today, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much to each and every one of you beautiful souls for showing up today. I so appreciate you guys. Mwah.